Hi, this is Dr. Justin Marcagiani here, and today's talk is going to be on how to heal your gut. And also, what are the main causes that are causing someone's gut to have issues in the first place? So again, this is a really important concept, especially with people that are chronically ill, people that have skin issues, digestive issues. We have a large spectrum we're looking at. We have people that have IBS, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, IBD, all these different pathological conditions on one side, and then we have people on the other side of the spectrum that may have acne or skin issues, maybe a little bit of bloating, some gas, maybe acid reflux, maybe GERD somewhere in the middle. So all of these conditions have a common etiology. So we have to get the gut healed. So the first step is we want to look at removing the irritating foods that are driving the issue. So inflammation tends to cause the body to break down faster. When we have inflammation coming from stress, ideally our three body stressors, which are going to be physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress, that literally affects our DNA and turns on genes that allow us to feel not so good. So stress causes our gut lining to break down. We have this mucosal barrier called IgA, immunoglobulin A, and that breaks down when it comes to stress, and we'll start seeing sinus infections, gut issues, irritation. We'll start seeing fungal infections, maybe even urinary tract infections as well. So again, removing the bad foods. And with certain people, depending on how sick you are, we may have to go to different lengths. It may just be cutting out grains, legumes, or dairy. Other people, it may be cutting out FODMAPs, or fructo-oligo-disaccharide mono and polyols. I know, a mouthful. Specific sugars in foods that can feed bad bacteria and cause SIBO. We may have to go autoimmune and cut out nuts and seeds, and maybe even nightshades like tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and peppers. Others that are more irritated, we may have to go to a specific carbohydrate diet where we cut out salicylates and phenols as well. We may even have to add a rotation component to it if someone is autoimmune. So again, when we look at someone's gut, especially if they're autoimmune, their gut becomes leaky. And what that means is the gastrointestinal tight junctions, so our junctions are like this, they're nice and tight, and when we get inflamed due to gluten or various foods or even infections, they can open up and various food particles can slip through, and the immune system starts seeing it and starts attacking. And it's important to note that 70 to 80% of our immune system is actually located in our gut, in the mucosal associated lymphoid tissue in the small intestine, as well as the gall or the gastric associated lymphoid tissue in the stomach. So removing the allergenic foods is going to be very important. Next, replacing enzymes and hydrochloric acid. So when our body gets into a sympathetic state, that's the fight or flight nervous system, that's our SNS, sympathetic nervous system. When that goes up, what actually happens is this. Here's our body, our little stick figure, just like that. And what happens is this. As we get more and more and more stressed, our blood actually goes towards the extremities because we're trying to mobilize glucose so we can fight and flight. And guess what happens to our digestive system here? The blood goes away from that, and we're not able to produce the enzymes and the hydrochloric acid and the bile salts we need for proper digestion. So getting our bodies into a parasympathetic nervous system is actually really the most important thing. Our parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and digest, if you will. So we really want to increase the PNS, parasympathetic nervous system, and that actually takes the blood and brings it back inward towards the tummy. That allows for proper hydrochloric acid secretion. HCl is the first domino that happens for digestion in the stomach. The acidity there, when the food is released into the small intestine, triggers the gallbladder to produce bile, and for the pancreas to produce various enzymes such as trypsin and chymotrypsin for protein and fat digestion as well. And that makes the environment less susceptible for dysbiosis and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Now, if we continue to have chronic issues with these compounds here, it's very easy to get a chronic infection. So next here, some people, again, they may need specific repairing nutrients. If they have gut issues, long-standing gut issues, and they're inflamed, we may need to add certain things like L-glutamine or slippery elm or marshmallow root extract or aloe vera, things like that that are soothing and healing, deglycerized licorice. This will help allow the gastrointestinal tract to heal. Now, sometimes just doing this above is repairing unto itself. So it really depends on how severe, where on the spectrum you fall as a person. Next, this is one of the most important parts because most doctors miss this with patients, is getting rid of the infection. And also the timing of when we get rid of it. So the infections can be driving this leaky gut kind of thing, keeping us in this stressed out state, which keeps this sympathetic nervous system activated, which prevents digestion. So if we have these chronic infections here, whether it's SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, whether it's dysbiosis or parasites, bacteria, fungus, or even viruses, that can keep our body in that stressed out state. So doing the right test, whether it's blood work or whether it's doing a comprehensive stool analysis to figure out what this infection is, can be really important. And you can see this is actually fourth on the list, not first, because it can be a little bit stressful to your detoxification system and your immune system to remove it. That's why it's fourth on the list. And some people, before we even get to this, we're actually addressing one system, one body system before that, which is your hormonal system, which could be either ATM if you're a man, adrenals, thyroid, and male hormones, or ATF if you're a woman, adrenals, thyroid, and female hormones. That has to be addressed. So when we go into this, there's just less issues, there's less side effects. So removing that infection is vital, and also the timing of it and setting the person up. Sometimes we don't even touch this for 1 to 2 months until a person has the hormonal support before we go there. Next is reinoculation. So think of going outside to your backyard. Maybe you have a garden in your backyard. It's full of weeds. We can't plant new seeds with that garden full of weeds. There's just not enough room for those seeds to grow. So we actually have to go in and we have to take out all of the weeds. And that's what's happening in this removing phase. So we remove all the weeds, and then now we can reinoculate. We can put all the good bacteria back in. There are many patients I've seen that have had issues adding in probiotics. Now the question is why? Well, the reason why is you're trying to plant seeds into a garden that's full of weeds. That's the reason why you're having a reaction. Just like you go to get your car washed, you get your car washed before you get it waxed. Why? Because you don't want to rub a whole bunch of wax on top of a dirty car. So that's the same type of philosophy here. We want to reinoculate after the weeds are pulled or after the infection is removed. So I hope you found this talk helpful. If you're having any gut issues at all or any chronic health challenges or even hormonal issues, remember the gut can be a strong source of stress and can suck away from your hormonal energy. If you're having any chronic issues and you want to get assessed, feel free to check the information below the video for more ways to get in touch with me. And this is Dr. Justin signing off. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks. Take care.